I hate to break it to you, but football isn't always fun or easy or straightforward. Sometimes you need to be told the truth, the hard, honest truth. And that's not always easy to get because it kind of kills the vibe, especially if it's coming from your friends or your coach or your family. So let me do it instead and tell you 5 hard truths that you'll need to know as a young player that wants to improve and that they, your coach and your friends and your family, won't always tell you. And the first thing you'll need to understand is that you have to work or someone else will. Look, you might have nailed down a starting position in the team. You feel like an important player and you're set. You're good, it's cool. But the thing is that if you become too comfortable, you just start being like, oh, I've got it all, I'm special. Well, I guarantee you that there are a lot of players out there who are willing to come in and work their socks off to take your spot. So if you rest on your laurels, you don't do the work, you're not a team player, you don't make the runs back necessary, you don't do what's asked of you, I can guarantee you that someone else out there will do that. And at that point, even though you feel special because you are you, like, most likely, your coach doesn't care. Like, look, his or her job is to set out the best team possible, which usually consists of a lot of players that work together as a team and work for the team, which means that if you don't, you're kind of disposable, especially if there's a lot of other people willing to do the work that you're not. So don't rest on your laurels and don't give anyone an excuse to kick you off the team, even though you feel confident. And another thing you'll need to understand is that sometimes you might not necessarily play the position that you like the most or feel that you're best at. Because again, setting out the best team is the coach's job and not yours. Which means that you might love playing as a right winger and you might be great at it. You might be one of the best players in the team. But if the coach feels that for this match, the team as a whole is better off if you play on left wing or as left back or right back or whatever, out of position, that is what you have to do. Even though you might feel, oh, but I'm special, I'm the right winger. But who cares? This is for the better of the team. And obviously, if the coach feels that you should change position permanently and you disagree, then sit down with your coach, have a good, easygoing, constructive conversation about it and see where you end up. But if it's just for this or a couple of the next matches, just accept it. Get your chin up, stop complaining, and go out there, play the position, do your job, and do what you're asked. Because if you don't, someone else will. But the thing is that if you play football or want to play football at a slightly more competitive level, it's important to know that no one, absolutely no one, cares about excuses. I've played with and also against so many players that said, yeah, I played badly because my knee hurts so. Or, yeah, I have a headache, so this, all the bad excuses. But the thing is that you're only using these excuses to kind of hide your bad performance behind them, meaning that you don't really have to deal with them and you don't have to face the backlash of your bad performance. The problem is, on a higher level, no one cares about excuses and everyone hates them because they've heard them all before and it shows a lack of accountability. So excuses won't get you anywhere. So even if your knee hurts or you have a headache, you just have 2 choices. Either you don't play if you're not fit, or you tell your coach. He or she can decide if you're fit to play, and if you are, you play. No excuses. If you play badly, then it's probably not because of the knee, and all you have to do then is go back, analyze what happened, and then learn from it so it doesn't happen again. Don't make excuses because no one, frankly, is gonna take you seriously. And that leads me to the other thing, that you shouldn't make excuses in general, period. But it's also important that you don't make excuses to yourself. Like, no one's gonna drop a 10 out of 10 performance every time. But when you have a really bad performance, you need to not make excuses to yourself and just deflect and say, oh, we lost because my teammates sucked, I played so well, or, yeah, I wasn't great today because my toe. That doesn't work. And I know it hurts a little less when you've played badly, that you don't really have to reflect on why and maybe realize that, okay, I'm not as good as I thought I was. But on the other hand, it doesn't really help you if you don't deal with the fact that you can be better. So what you need to do instead is to go in, honestly and realistically evaluate yourself every time you've played. Don't ask your friends, because like I said earlier, giving honest feedback to your friends like that, it kind of kills the mood. So instead, be honest with yourself. You know your level, you know how good you are and how good you want to be. So go in and look at what you did well and also what kind of mistakes you make, because then you can also realize, okay, how can I fix the mistakes and improve? And that self-reflection, being honest with yourself, that is the only way you can really improve. So why, you're just gonna whoop, whoop, whoop. And the final thing you need to understand is that you need to let your feet do the talking. Look, we probably all know this player that talks a big game and always tells the coach about how good and important they are, and maybe goes on the internet and talks about their amazing skills and compares themselves to Mbappe or Ronaldo or whatever. And I'm not hating on that specifically. I'm just saying that you need to understand that that alone, talking about how good you are, doesn't necessarily lead you anywhere. It doesn't make you a good player. At least if you can't back it up on the pitch. And it only builds this bubble around you where you live in this weird fake reality that you're awesome where you might not be. And the day that some jerk comes and bursts that bubble and you realize that, okay, I'm not that great, that day is gonna suck. So, and I say this with as much love and respect as possible, shut up and let your feet do the talking. Like, if you're balling, sure, talk away, I don't really care, but just understand, and this is important, that you cannot sweet talk anyone into thinking that you're a good player. You need to show them. And I know this was probably not the video you were expecting with motivational violins and some epic voice telling you about the importance of perseverance and grit and the hustle. But I truly believe that hearing the hard truth is actually much more valuable to you, because if you know and you accept the truth, then it'll be much easier to deal with once the truth, the hard reality, actually hits you. You'll be harder to shake and it'll be easier to process, right? But it is the way it is, and if you don't like it, well, I'm cool with that. But are there other hard truths that young players especially need to hear? Well, leave them in the comment section right down below. Of course, if you need new football boots like these, that was difficult, you can buy them in the link to Unisport right over there. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel with the notifications on, and if you want to learn some skills that you can use to improve your game, click the playlist right down there. With those words, I'll be signing off. Cheerio. Cue the violins.